so nataka saa tuongee juu ya comedy but before tuongee juu ya comedy of course we have to know about the girl that became the woman. So uli grow up wapi?
I grew up in a bunch of different counties. So
Yeah.
Partly Mombasa,
Okay.
Kilifi, Kiambu County kidogo,
Yeah.
Kakamega, alafu Nairobi.
Or used to wonder about.
Yeah, our true wanderer.
Yes, no, nacheki.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Why?
So the short of it, I was adopted.
Okay.
So my parents, like, they died when I was very young, and then my uncle took us in, me and my sister and my older brother, but my older brother had to leave. So when he left, my uncle, because of his work, he moved around a lot.
Okay.
So when he would move with all of us with him, because he was like, it's so much easier that way than paying for 2 different houses. So that's how we got to travel around a lot. Yeah.
Now ulijua like what killed your parents ama you never?
So this is the basis of my comedy. I think uko ndo nilianza.
Yeah.
It's I didn't know until very later on when I got their death certificates, and then they both died of the same thing. They both passed away from heart attacks, but my mom was because she was in an accident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad alikuwa to one day chilling in the house, and then he got a heart attack and he didn't make it. Yeah.
At what age?
I was 4.
And your parents?
I was 4. My dad died when he was 42.
Okay.
And then my mom died like a couple of months later. It wasn't like hawakuwa wameachana sana. Like my dad died in September, my mom died in December of the same year. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe your mom, it's one of, have you had that thing until some people die of heartbreak, literally?
Yeah, I think they really loved each other. Like, you kids mtajipanga, as we are gone. Wakaendelea na love yao wakatuacha.
Yeah. So
that's what I think of it. They loved each other very, very much.
Mulikuwa 2 wa 3?
No. There's 9 of us. Yeah, but I have like much older siblings. So by the time I think my parents are dying, some of my siblings ndo walikuwa wameingia uni and stuff. Because there's a significant age gap between me and my older siblings, because my sister who I follow is like 7 years my senior. Yeah. So nikawa walikuwa wamemaliza kupata watu wao, alafu wako like, oh, I'm bored, and then they had me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just
it happens a lot.
See, to go to honest, you are not planned. You're supposed to be fun, then fun turned into a human. Oh, okay. So out of all these counties, like which one do you have like the most childhood memories in, whether painful or sweet?
It has to be Kakamega, because I think we lived there for a while, because my uncle built his house there. He had, it was so much easier. So everything is there. So he built like the townhouse and he built everything there. So I spent at least, let's say, 6 years there. Yeah.
Oh, and this uncle ni brother ya mother ma brother ya dad?
Babangu.
Oh, okay. And vile unasema that like your siblings were much older, why do you think one of them didn't just be like, you know what?
I'll say because they were starting out, they were just figuring out their lives. And my uncle was very aware about like taking care of us, because that entire situation ilikuwa mbaya. Like I come from those families where when death happens, anything can happen. Like either you will get thrown out into the streets or like someone will actually come in and take care of you. So my uncle was very intentional about making sure that we didn't have a hard life, because my dad took care of him when he was in uni. So he was like, okay, I can't just let like watoto wetu wakwe uko nje, like not having any support. Yeah.
Na mwenye by that time he had kids?
Yeah, he had 4 children.
Yeah.
When by the time my dad was dying, he had 4 kids. So and they were all boys. So having girls to him was kind of like a nice,
a good balance.
Intro.
Na nini, most African families, I have to say, the women are never receptive of the father's relatives. So did you go through that And if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay.
I'll not say it wasn't receptive. It's just hard.
Yeah,
This is what I figured out, because having your own children is one thing, because you intentionally had them, you can take care of them and everything. But then when a tragedy happens and you have to accommodate more people, it's like you're making space for other people in your house. So I don't think
Strangers.
she hated us. She was just like adjusting to her new reality. It took a while, but she adjusted. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So mko tight?
No.
Which I understand.
Like
Actually,
I think because she didn't also have any girls, it was just harder to connect with us, because she really loves like her boy kids, like si wengine ni ma extra. I got to see her. We have kind of like a relationship, but it's very hard because I think because we are not her children, maybe it's just harder to connect.
So with that, one of those a broken clock is right twice a day. With that, would you understand why some men fear single moms?
No.
I always understand why, like, because you're saying it's hard for someone to love a kid that's not theirs. Yes, like fully love.
I don't think I'm not fully love. It's maybe
But fully
accommodate them in connect. Fully love, because I will say this, I don't think she hated me, because if she did, I wouldn't even have gone to school. She would have just find a way to just like make sure nothing happens. But she didn't hate us. She didn't know what to do with us for the most part, and she didn't know how to
connect,
navigate your like, oh, these are other people's kids, how do I like take care of them and also balance that. Like that was difficult on her end 100%. Due, I think she was overwhelmed, but at the same time I don't think she hated us, because if she did, honestly, I swear to God, I think we would have died in that house kitambo hata before any of us grew up.
Okay, because more honest, like I think I'd actually struggle with, if like to my wife angekuwa like a single mom, I think I'd struggle. I'm always honest with myself. I feel like I'd feel funny, like I don't know this kid, like who's the dad. What if the dad just shows up here and he wants to fight? Because there are dudes who just want to fight.
That's true. There's dudes who want to fight.
So I'd always have that at the back of my mind. Maybe if I knew huyu alikufa, aligogwa na gari akarushwa juu akaanguka akakufa, then now I can be there like, okay, there's
Kama
no one.
nature ilimtake out, like, okay, that's fair game.
Yeah, that's really, but otherwise I'd always feel like his shadow would always be there. Every time I look at the kid, I'd be like, so more understand. I understand why some men are afraid of single mothers, especially the single mothers who want you to now come take over and be whatever. But I still, Musamaga, like I actually respect the single the guys who just step up and they take care of kids that and treat them like theirs.
I hear you, where it's difficult for you to just act like taking care of like a family that's already like a unit before you got there is not. We like to lie to ourselves like itakuwa too seamless. Some people are very lucky. They get there and it just works. And then some people get there, they start a relationship, there's pushback from the child. Maybe the dad of the child is still in the picture. Yes, the person really loves you, but also like your balance ni ngumu. But I think to me, nitasema ni case by case basis, because there are people who they had a boyfriend who abandoned them after amepata mtoi and they disappeared. And they just don't know how to fully be in that without your fear. Like maybe this person will just leave me because I'm a single mom. So I will say it's a case by case basis. Juu as a collective, like kila mtu, I don't think uneza nini watu hivyo.
But me unajua nikisema na understand why some people are afraid. I can never, pia on the other side, me see those like single mom hating dudes. That's stupid.
Kuna watu, they go out of their way.
Stupid, because you see this single mom basically had some dude who could not step up, like like he could not step up, like, and because I think there are two types of single moms. There are single moms who the kid still has their father, so she's single because ye mwenyewe ni single but the kid has a mother and a father but then there are single moms who are raising au ndio wana raise mtoi wanafanyia mtoi kila kitu there's no way you can judge that woman because some dude somewhere decided to be responsible. That's stupid.
Yeah.
So I hope watu watajua difference like me see those because I see it every day online like those two single mom hating dudes they just wake up in the morning and
hiyo ni mission.
hiyo nafaindigi ikiwa stupid. Na saa nyinyi wenyewe kawa toi mlikuwa tight mlikuwa how was it because sometimes you might find you don't connect with your mother but you connect with your brothers. How was that?
I think we are very close. I was even talking to my cousin like a few days ago like we're not actually super close where we tell each other everything and nini but like we're close enough ile like we love each other, we help each other out, we come through for each other in ways and I think that's mostly because of my uncle because that's the person that he was. He was just like the easiest person to talk to. He was just I think he's one of the best people I've ever met in my life. I don't think there's anyone who I'll ever met in this life who is going to mwenye atafikia level yake like he's just he was the most easygoing person. If you were wrong he would just tell you to your face and it wasn't like iyo kukuaibisha
out of spite
it's just like you did this, I didn't like it, please do better. He was those kinds of people. He was the best.
And you're talking about him in past tense? He passed away?
Yes. So unfortunately for me I lost my mom and dad when I was 4 and then I grew up and like things went the way they went because even when I went to high school I wasn't living with them. I had to go live with my brothers. So I didn't see them for a while. And then when I was clearing uni and I was trying to reconnect with my uncle again, that's when he passed away.
What killed him?
We actually do not know. It was one of those situations where he was okay when he left the house in the morning and then in the afternoon someone is calling my auntie, please kuja hospitali Kisumu, your husband is not doing well. A few hours later he's passed away.
Wow, hiyo inakuwaga it's scary, sindio?
It's very scary because like uko like is it like those family things where you can just prosper because he was so close to retiring too.
And what happens with the nini? Because I always see like in America they always talk about pension. What happens when such things happen like family yake, do they even ever get his pension? Because I know
think they do
with the corruption in this country.
I think they do because fortunately for my auntie I think she was very close to like the people he worked with because the good thing is he also worked she worked in the public sector like anajuana na watu, so I feel like maybe that helps where you can call people and you can find out what to do and how to get pension and everything because I think my cousins were telling me about like they were able to get one of the first payouts very easily. Okay because he was just months away to like his retirement. It wasn't like atilikuwa like a few years left. It was like a few months alafu retire, so I don't think maybe walisumbuliwa hapa na pale but speaking to my cousin was like we were able to get the first payout and in good time too.
Okay so Kakamega ndio ulikuwa na memories mob. What about Mombasa?
I loved I think Mombasa was my favorite place to live. We lived there I think for a year and a half and it was Mombasa Kilifi and I think the weather, going to school for half day. We never used to go to school because they're public because it gets very hot.
Is on class again?
Class 3-4.
Class 3-4. Okay.
So it was so much fun, I think, living in Mombasa. It was so easygoing. I think for a full year, I was never worried about exams. I was not worried about going to school for the full day. We used to have like extracurricular activities that were actual activities that's not just at playing games na nini. We learned like a lot of crafts in that school.
That's nini because siko najua like nini is watu endaga half day. I don't know why in my mind I always assume classes kuna AC or some fun.
Maybe if it's a fancy school because we went to a public school. Kuna hata public unafaa kwa tuna mtu ameandika na gawa iko but hata mnasikia
na Manila paper
mna nini. Okay so comedy ulijipataje? Comedy like when did you start feeling like you know what I'm funny, I should do this.
I think kukua funny ni kitu tu prevalently have been in my life. Like I was always mtu wa ma spectacle. I used to be like a class clown in high school. Like ule mtu mwenye I always got into trouble because of just like stupid things I used to do.
Yeah.
And then nikienda uni, I thought maybe I'd be like, put your head down, do the right thing, upate job, uendelee na maisha yako. And then I got the job, and it's one of the worst jobs I've ever worked at.
Okay, so wacha to rewind selector. Uni, uli study?
I studied fine art.
Fine art.
Yeah.
Kwani seko ulienda wapi? Seko gani?
My girl's Eldoret.
Okay.
Nilienda shule mtoi wa Ruto alienda. She was actually a class I think behind.
Who, Shalin?
Shalin Ruto.
Okay. Lakini amko the same class. She was behind.
I think she was 1 year behind if I'm not sure.
Alikuwa shanza kuuza smoky.
Sijui kama ilikuwa side hustle yake, I can tell. Kuna time tukiwa shule they used to live very close to the school, or like they had another house close to the school.
Yeah.
And there's a time I think he came, sijui alikuwa MP hiyo time or something.
Eldoret North. Which year is this?
2008. Alikuwa an MP.
2008 he was
Sugoi.
Eldoret North. Sugoi is his village or something.
No, I'm just saying, maybe devolution changed.
I think he was an
No,
MP
he was
at
MP
the
for-
time if I'm not
Ile time alikuwa MP wa Eldoret North.
So
Eldoret
watu
North.
walikuanga like,
Yes.
nini Ruto ako huku nini. It was like a whole spectacle, and then like they would like come in this like big car, and then it was like a whole spectacle for the school. I think the school had like a bunch of rich people's kids. Like there was 2 PS's kids. There was there's like a cabinet minister, like some government officials had kids there, but I think kwa class yao, she was the one who people knew their dad. So it was ilikuanga spectacle, like akikujua visiting day nini yo like watana ukienda nyumba yao ni pale sijui nini, so mtume walete food or something.
Because it makes sense, because I think around that time is when the dads like whatever was rising, like the dad's political star was rising. Like that's the time that ilifika kwa hiyo trajectory. Najua ya kunini. So how's school uko? Like LD?
It was a nice school. I think I went there when it was still a proper school. Juu ilikuwa zile Moi funded schools, unajua like zilikuwa na reputation, they had like good investment, their board members walikuwa watu very high up kwa society, like they really took care of the school, and they really in turn took care of the people who went there. Most of the kids that are wenye walikuwa nakuja shule and they couldn't complete fees, like the board used to make like certain arrangements, you get like a certain scholarship fund. It was like a really really awesome school.
Okay, because hizo mamoi whatever they are ni kibao yani hata sijui zinakuwa
mingi ni kama tulibaptiziwa kama watoto wa kukudenja, like this just a bunch of people went to Moi's schools, and
Moi never kwa ikuja hiyo yenyu.
I think alikuja once.
Ukikuwa
I think so. But it was just awkward. Ilikuwa tu like tulisimamishwa, unakumbuka hizo malines watu walikuwa wanapigishwa. It was just awkward. I don't even know. I have no recollection because I refuse to remember kutolewa. On my day off, I think ilikuwa on a Saturday. Kutolewa on a Saturday kwenye the one day you're resting, kwenda kusimama kuwavia msee na manila paper.
Na hii time kwani ulikuwa mko mnastay wapi? Because you're saying you're living with your brother.
My brother is living in Nairobi, so hiyo time ilikuwa tu unaekwa kwa shuttle. Good luck on your journey.
Okay. So fine art, which university? KU. Okay.
Akunanga masomo KU. But tulisoma though.
Mtu yangu akitwa KU nitakata. So kitu fani
ni fine art in KU.
Vile tulikuwa na nani hapa, I remember asking him like, ulienda kwenda KU? Me always knew he was a KU person. Aitwa nani? Ndovuku. Mimi kwa najua ni mtu wa KU. The way you
akwenda like a private uni.
alienda ganini alienda ni East Africa School of Aviation. Because alikuwa na study engineering, so and he's actually very passionate about engineering. You know, like it's just one of those things where you know,
it's so bad when it doesn't work out, Jude. Like, you're actually very smart. It should reward you.
You love it, and you know it's something you can mix with music. But unajua Kenya is still Kenya. So
Kenya itakuchapa character development when you least expect.
So fine art, what does this involve? It's literal drawing ama
it's mostly what like drawing, art history. It's a lot to do with the art world. Me uzuri time nilikuwa naingia, they were changing the curriculum a little bit, so I did like some animation courses. I did interior design, that was my major. I did like printmaking, like plus and t-shirts, so that we had like some units in that. But like most of the general units zilikuwa za drawing.
Also interior design, what do you mean by that? Like ya nyumba na vitu kazi?
Ya nyumba, commercial spaces, like I did that. I really loved it, but again, Kenya will just like you can work in the industry, it's just very tedious.
Were the lecturers people who've actually done something while goes there? Children, it's time to learn about Ethereum.
I don't think we had tulikuwa lecturer mmoja. I don't think mbaba alikuwa anajua kenye anafanya. Because there's a semester where like they have to give you like the semester plan, like the lesson plans for the entire semester, so that you know the first week ni hii introduction, wiki nini ni hii. There's one semester we were like 6 weeks in, ama ni like 4 weeks in, na hakuwa ametupea like the plan ya semester, and he didn't know what we were supposed to do. So tulikuwa tunamuuliza utatupea exam mark ya free ama nini naendelea kwa no, we're still trying to figure out mtu mwenye atawafunza. It's like they introduced a course without the proper resources. So most of it tulikuwa tunajifunza ama another person anakufunza kitu, and then when we got to our internships uko ndo saa like we had to learn on the job.
Kenya education system.
Kenya education ni freestyle ingine hata.
Inakuwaga because you expect a university ikuwe like a certain level of nini. So ikikuja to comedy ulianzia Moi. Now by comedy I mean now standing in front of people. Moi ukiwa Seko ama KU ukiwa Kampo? Ama in between?
I don't think I ever did comedy in those places. I think I was funny, like doing funny things, but comedy yenyewe nilianza way after I got my job.
Where was the job?
I used to work in Muthaiga at an interior design shop. It's very expensive. And like my boss was like wale watu like horrible people, like wanapenda kukupigia kelele, ni kama kona routine, akifika hivi ni aende afungue ofisi yake, achapwe na kabaridi kidogo, akuje hapo katikati anze kutupigia kelele. For like she would do that every day. I think ilikuwa like stress relief routine yake.
Kitu funny ni vilonza mage like kuna kitu like I always quote a certain rapper, he's called Slug, and my wife hates when I quote him because he says I'm a feminist, I'm also a misogynist. When you talked about your boss, I just knew it was a woman. I'm sorry. I was like, this sounds very female. Oh, okay.
But I had like in my internship I had a very bad male boss too. Alikuanga anapenda udaku. He was a womanizer. And then he didn't like when you didn't like him back. So anaenda na kubad mouth kwa bosses. Like I've had nimekuwa na gender equality ya bad bosses.
Okay. Because huwa kwanza kufunga mpaka dirisha, I was like, unless the dude is so how's that industry hapa Kenya, like the whole interior thing?
It's a good industry because iko na pesa. And ina thrive. Shida ni mtu anataka picha zenye ameona Pinterest umfanyie na budget ya sijui 20k. Just like vitu ni expensive, like you have to pay for my services. Kama unataka kufungua Pinterest ufuate, fanya tu mwenyewe, don't involve me, but for my services you have to pay. So unapata hata kama una freelance unaweza pata do, but they'll fight you. So unashinda umesema unaniletea umelipa when ngoja next week. It's just like any other industry.
Okay.
Because they don't think art is a job.
Yeah, I know that, and that's why like when you move around ukicheki houses in Nairobi, you'll be sad
Very
because
sad.
I think the internet has spoiled us, but Nairobi has so many ugly houses, and these ugly houses ukiona, they have ugly prices because like the house and the price don't go along. Aja opposites attract. If it's an ugly house, let it have a beautiful price.
Yeah.
Like the house is ugly, it has ugly like house imejaa watu wameziadvertise just because it's in Muthaiga, and the kitchen inakaa sijui aje. Then hata vile tunatengeneza this open kitchen plants, a lot of them are
Yeah.
they just don't.
Because I didn't
think-
know actually these open kitchens took your wife for me to notice that lazima ikuwe na hiyo kitu ya kutrap hizo
Yeah.
steam like
Yeah, ndio ziende
because
juu.
it can spoil the
Itaribu
seats.
nyumba.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Kuna
think
hizo nini?
mi nitasema a lot of African cultures na cultures of the global south aziko built for like your modernity yenye tuna chase.
Yeah.
Ndio kuna watu wanapenda like a very flashy lifestyle, they almost never cook in their houses. So vile nyumba inakaa tu for aesthetics, so ina work. But kuna mtu mwenye if you cook daily, if you have like a lot of relatives, kuna plans zenye hazi work. Na hiyo ndo shida a lot of families uku, they don't make houses na the kind of people who live there in mind.
Yeah.
So unapata mtu ameunda nyumba kubwa but it's just impractical.
Yeah, cause sisi ni watu wa omena na matumbo. Hajiza vitu mbili.
Yeah.
Matumbo fanya nyumba inanuka kama vya ng'ombe. Alafu omena is just omena ichekagi cha.
Unafaa kufungua madirisha zote.
Yeah.
Hiyo ndio part ya prepping process.
Cause mi upenda matumbo. That's like one of the foods that I love that.
That's your favorite food.
Yeah, ingekuwa tu it's not that it takes too much gas to cook it. So any money that you save through its price, you'll spend in gas.
Yeah.
And then of course omena pia is just omena. Alafu it's always interesting to see like a Kikuyu person like Ian akikula omena because inakuangalia ikuangalia budesha dedi.
Nakula
Just
kama
your guys.
nimefunga macho.
Basi utoe like the head during
Yeah, nilisikia
preparation.
kwanza tulikuwa Gikosh and there are those dudes mabeshto wako walikuwa nakuzia njumu like those old party of yours.
Yeah, I remember one used to struggle with alcoholism.
Yeah.
I remember.
Beshto alikuwa anasema omena ukikula usikunywe maji. Yeah. Zinafufuka.
Alikuwa anakuenjoy soko.
So actually I knew it's bullshit but you can just
Bado.
pictured my stomach being an aquarium for 2 hours.
Zimefufuka.
Umeziamsha.
Yeah. It didn't sink well. Yeah.
So ikikuja to interior deco, so did you ever like do a project yourself ama ni kitu you just did for people, you never did anything for yourself?
I think it's very hard to do stuff for yourself. Do you understand how much resources you need for you to be able to do something to the scale yenye unataka? So I'm still working on my own project. Like I want to build my own house and like do the full interior myself. But I understand that hata mimi as much wana complain clients wataki kulipa, siwezi kuwa one of those people pia mwenye utaki kulipia services zenye pia utatumia.
So as an interior designer unaweza chorea tu mtu na you don't go the extra step, like unachorea mtu alafu mtu yuko nayo so you charge them a fee ama you have to chora and actually do the whole thing? Ama unaweza tu mtu even ndio you can do this like what's the ni JD, job description?
So job description ni actually very simple. It's kuna watu wenye they want space design. So unaingia kwa nyumba unapata like they have like this massive space and they don't know how to just to like arrange the furniture, how to like make sure space yake ina work. Kuna hiyo. Alafu kuna watu wenye like from scratch, like when the house is being built we have to think about like how this will look aesthetically. So inaenda from just like the finishes to like what actually goes into the house. So those are the two ninis, to ends zake.
Yeah,
So interior deco mostly ni yotu ya kuadd, una add furniture here, una arrange, una make sure the space is functioning. But interior design ni more structural.
yeah.
Unaambia mtu uwezi, hii floor plan yako haiwezi work hivi, uwezi eka kitchen hapo, uwezi unapata kuna watu una work nao hivo, alafu aesthetics watatafuta tu mtu wa interior deco, alafu they go about their way. So vile unauliza kama mtu anaweza lipia tu for the drawing and nini, that I've done.
Oh, okay.
But it's just sengine yu kwa shida juu kama huyo mtu mwingine ayuko very good at interpreting
the drawing.
Anaweza fanya maajabu hapo ushangae.
But pia mnaweza remix space. So let's say there is already a space that exists. You can't remix it by, you know.
Yeah. That happens too, but ubaya how most Kenyan spaces are designed. Either if you don't do like a full renovation where you knock down walls or like change a whole thing, it might not really work. But yes, kuna hiyo ya just renovating a space where you just change how it looks ama the functionality yake. Kama unaweza kuwa na sitting room tunai-change into like an office na mtu atatadhani ilikuwa sitting room in the first place.
Okay. Because it looks like I always find it to be super interesting because lafike kwa mtu nini after having worked in that industry, what do you admire more, old architecture ama new architecture?
I'll say old.
Yeah,
because most people used to like they awako wanaogopa kuunda vitu spacious. Like siku hizi unaingia kwa nyumba unafeel ni kama ni choo tatu zimekwa side by side, like it's so small.
I know.
Small, yeah. Like kitambo, I think also maybe because it was a population thing, they didn't mind building something that had proper space for you.
Cause najua hii place inaitwa nini, hizi places za Chinese, I know that's like one of the things people are struggling with. Like these Chinese spaces, they are very small, so you find like a beautiful space but it's super small because I think the Chinese wamekuja na mindstate ya kwao. Waja mindstate ya kwao ni people just want, you know, they've mastered small spaces. Utapata like someone like tumeka kwa hii couch hivi, as soon as tumetoka tu anaitoanisha hivi and it's a hole, it's a bed, it's a what. So they've mastered that. Hizi ma cabinets they've mastered. So I think wamekuja na hiyo mentality Kenya. Na saa zingine you just want space, you want to go American because I feel like Americans don't care about space. They'll give you space.
They will. I think also ina depend. I think the issue ni kuishi in urban areas. Urban areas mnanyimwa space, mnaishi ni kama mko jela, but if ukienda watu nyako more out of town, like even the way it's just like constructed, kuna hiyo intention ya kutumia space vizuri na kumake nini yako ifeel ni kama like ni nyumba yako, si ati tu mnakuwa crammed into one small nini area.
Okay. So nasema comedy ni after this woman screamed at you then
open the window and
hata si hivyo, it's just like we used to work a job yenye ndio kukua unaskrimiwa nini. Me am an adoptive kid, watu kuniscreamia has been my life, sio majabu. But it's like the problem inakuja ukikuwa kwa, how do I say this, hatukuwa na contracts.
Okay.
So aujui kama job utaamka uambe job imeisha. So mi nikuwa na shanga like what kind of escape nitakuwa nayo so that I don't have to think about situation ya hii job all the time. So your time kuna rafiki yangu alikuwa na host open mic hapa number 7 tao. Nikasema acha mimi niende, at least maybe nitaweza kuchekesha watu, like ni stress reliever or something like as a side thing that has nothing to do with my job. So hivyo tu ndo nilianza, and that first show went so badly.
So you went to your first stand-up when you're still an interior designer. You still had your 9 to 5?
Yes.
Oh, that's good because a lot of people just dive in and I feel like hiyo ndio kitu tunaonaga kwa inaitwa nini, ni kwa TV and what you're told to just quit and follow your dream can turn into a nightmare so fast.
Easy. Dreams turn into nightmares all the time. Unafikiriaga just because you're passionate about something kuna pesa inakungoja on the other side of the door, but it's not even that close. Because ndio hata upate your expert level where you're even making money off of the thing, it takes a while. So I had to be strategic. Nilikuwa like niko na job, nitakuwa naenda job, nafanya job, jioni naenda na chapa mic. Evo too, until it got to a point where now the industry that we work in right now was developing.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, maybe I can quit my job and then pursue this.
Okay. Because salo ya job ilikuwa around how much?
Ilikuwa pesa kidogo. Ilikuwa nalipwa sijui 20k.
Yeah, and una scream hiyo.
I was like, this is so little money. So kuna time nilienda kuulizia raise. Nikaambia, I would like to talk to you about something because tulikuwa tumediscuss before. Nilikuwa na like a grace period ya 8 months nikianza. Nilikuwa nalipwa 10k. Yo 8k, yo 10k after imepita yo grace period nilikuwa like, hii ni affair tu. Like I don't even get any money. Niko itabidi uniongeze pesa. Kasema sawa tutaiongeza, tutaigetisha to what 20,000. So vile ilienda 20,000 alikuwa like this one.
Yeah,
you're happy
set.
now. So
Yeah,
uko set. At least sasa tu si fair peke. Maybe your juu inaweza
can live in Kayole.
Bro. Mi nikamwambia siwezi kuwa na commute matatu 2 kufika job ndo nilipwe ido.
Uko na issue wapi hii time?
Nilikuwa naka upper hill na brother yangu.
Okay.
Na brother yangu ako na familia, so it's very hard to be like just because I have to contribute a little bit to like
kuja na mayai mbili at least time
like
ya
au
skuma.
freestyle tu umekuja hapo ni kama tu unakuja kuconsume kwa umeenda
Yeah.
So nikamwambia tulikuwa tumeongea you were supposed to raise my salary, so nikapush kidogo akasema sawa 40k ndio cut off.
Yeah.
So mi nadhani haitakuwa shida kulipwa but kuna hiyo tu like you can tell like hawataki kuchange salary yako because it's so much cheaper for them to keep you kwa hiyo labor kidogo juu you're doing all this work unaleta millions but see 20k inakuserve. So we're having a conversation about the raise and she unaweza tell tu like ayuko interested. Ako like but you don't do anything. Si wewe unakuja hapa you sit around for the whole day. How many clients have you brought in? Sayo unasema hivyo like you brought in like 5 clients over the last like 4 months. Now every client anaacha kitu kama 7 million. Na unaambiwa your job. Like you're not doing anything. Like no na si clients wa kusumbua. Ni mtu mwenye akiandika check leo imeclear in like the next 2 days. Like hakuna mtu anakusumbua. Na bado unaambiwa you're not doing anything. Niko mimi hapa mi sioni. Because like I knew tukiendelea kwa hiyo path I'll not get any upward mobility. Like sitapata promotion, sitapata any
time ushafika 40 ama bado uko 20?
Nilikuwa ndo nimeingia 40.
Okay.
So like the issue was there was a co-worker of mine. We were doing the exact same job. Ni vile yeye alienda shule majuu.
Yeah, okay.
So yeye alikuwa nilipa around I think 120.
Okay, I know that.
So hiyo pay gap haikuwa inanimakia sense because I'm doing the exact same job. We're bringing in the exact same clientele. Maybe yeye atapewa like more bigger clients because your educational background yake, but that doesn't mean I'm less qualified. Alienda I think Coventry, England.
England. Okay. Yeah, you nakuwa gani nita. Yeah.
So like certificate yake ina hold weight. Unajua karatasi ukifanya hivi si kama yake you inaweza waka moto juu ya friction. So unatel tu like at least hata wa make adjustment hata kama there's a big significance between how we are paid, at least hata nifikishe 80.
Yeah. Najua.
But akukwa na hiyo willingness hata tu have your conversation beyond.
Because Kenya, you have to understand the fact that there are not enough jobs out there, so being harassed is so easy and
it's
being
so easy.
taken advantage of. I don't know if you saw this clip, but there was this clip going round of some woman who was advising people on how to behave in the office. She was like, if any senior staff akiingia lazima usimame. Did you see?
Niliona hiyo watu walikuwa namuuliza wewe uko serious? Like unaambia watu wasimame wafanye nini? Ndio
ati usimame alafu you have to let that person, they have to be the ones that greet you
si wasalimie.
Sio wasalimie.
Una interrupt power balance ama nini niko
like
hii ni ukoloni please.
I think it's on zile office spaces mse ana try kujionyesha like I'm boss.
but sasa utaperform
like I
hiyo
didn't
nini hadi when
sikuleta like watu wakiingia hapa they don't need to interact with you.
Yeah.
They just come straight to me, don't spoil them.
And I think sometimes it takes very insecure people to be like that. Like, lazima watu wasimame, lazima watu wa nini. If you're making me money just wezi jali hata mko hapo ndani hiyo ni shauri yenu.
It's so weird unaimagine umetoka kwako uko na mashida zako uko na makazi za kufanya lakini mtu boss wako akipita you have to stand up unachata kitu mimi siwezi fanya job place
alafu amke uangushe by accident umove kidogo uangushe ile computer ama laptop ama
iMac.
Yeah. And now you're in trouble again. It was a very yeah. So now back to this first night. So this first night umetoka job ukaenda stage. Which stage? Where did you go?
Ilikuwa number 7.
Oh, number 7.
So,
about tutao?
Ilikuwa like open mic ya poets like walikuwa wamesema like if you have any nini you can do the mic but like comedians awako ati watu wengi kwa hiyo lineup. I think I was the only comedian. So mi nikapanda stage after like I think there's 2 performers ama 3 performers went before me and that stage nikapewa mic niko excited nimeandika like beats zangu like wacha to perform. I start performing vile number 7 iko structured jikoni iko tu hapo
yeah.
So moshi ikaanza kusip kwa stage mi ndio huyo like I have a very weak like ninaanza kukohoa nalia bado najaribu kuperform kuna dem kwa audience anani heckle so akili yangu kaniambia ukipita hivi number 7 katikati wewe uko nje si like ni outside nikienda nje naweza pumua but naweza endelea kuperform. So the entire time ninachoke ninalia ninajaribu ku get through my beats like everyone is just watching kawa meshanga like alafu radem bado ananitusi hata you're not funny sijui nini and she was like very drunk.
Yeah, I know those ones
and I didn't know how to handle a heckler hiyo time. I think mpaka saa I still don't know how to handle a heckler.
Yeah
because you're not trying to offend them, you're just trying to make sure that they don't interfere with the performance. After I did that I was like maybe I should do this for the rest of my life. If I manage to navigate this situation maybe I should just do this.
Okay.
I got like 4-6 laughs which
is good enough
which is good enough for a start. A win is a win.
Because when I remind you nini vilome bokaja the heckler when I remind there's something I keep quoting. There's this rapper naitwa Chino Excel and he says the only thing he ever contributed to the culture was an opinion. And it reminds me like today I'm in a certain group that I'm in and I always feel like it's rude to leave a group, but I'm in a group that has a lot of haters like people who just hate, people who just have an opinion. So someone quoted this guy Domani Munga sindio? Someone quoted Domani Munga and it was a very dope nini quote and so that was guy was like look at the amount of thought that went into this. And then the kaheta always shows up, so someone was there like bado ako offbeat achiki. And yeah, I understand you don't like it, I understand, but this person has made a career out of this with his offbeat. He's making basically a lot of money with this. He's offbeat. So the only thing you ever contributed was an opinion because no one cares about your opinion. Weenda na hiyo on beat yako. Let's see how far you take it. Because art is subjective. So the way someone else consumes the art and the way you consume is
different.
Like if you had to go and tell our cardinali fan that unajua nini udomani is hata kuunderstand kwa like that's you and your perfection kakando siktambui unacheki so it's just one of those things. So I understand like critics are everywhere and I always feel like a lot of critics are people who would want to do what you're doing. But so maybe odem alikuwa wanna be comedian. So that's the first day. Second time bado number 7 ama a different place?
I did number 7 for a while until I met Onjoro, who was like a comedian who'd done it for a while, and he's like, oh, I have this show, would you like to come perform? So I went to perform that show, and I think that's where I met Doug and George.
Yeah.
And just that's how, like, I kept meeting people who are like, oh, so we are doing this thing, come. Kidogo kidogo blues ikaanza. That's how we like got into like the stand-up collective space to perform. Before we know it, we were doing shows. Yani, you don't even think of like the everydays. It's like unaenda tu, what's the funniest thing I'm performing today? It didn't work, you go rewrite hivo tu.
Yeah. Oh, alafu kitu fani ni Onjoro tulikuwa the same high school but he was alikuwa kwa nyuma yangu kabisa. I don't know when he finished but so he's like one of those comedians I always say like I need kukaa chini naye cause tulikuwa naye the same whatever. So alafu ikikam to nini, we'll still come back to comedy, but why did you start mocking wokeness? Because I feel like you mock wokeness.
I don't mock wokeness. If anything, I think I mock my own morality and like standpoints. Because me najiconsider, me ni feminist, me ni like, I am like a moral police of some sort. I really don't like politicians. Like, niko kwa hizo spaces zenye watu wanasemanga like, you people are too woke. Ni kama mnajifanya mnajua kila kitu, like what's wrong with you? Si kama if you're so smart you fix the world. So I have to read stories where some people awakwa na choices about the things and the decisions that they made. And I have to be able to tell the stories from a point ya grace, a point ya kuconnect na like everyday people. So much of my work ni ku make sure that my overwhelming opinion in a side na watu wenye wanakuwa oppressed. Hata kama sometimes I don't fully understand the story, there's a reason why it's like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how do you define wokeness, Basi? Like, if you had to define it?
I'll say the original term of it was very apt. It's like tuko kwa system yenye most people are not aware of what's going on. And just the state of being awake is being in touch with what's happening and finding ways to just have conversations and maybe we can find solutions. So that's how I'll define wokeness. Just the state of being aware. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because have you seen the way it's used in American politics?
I hate Americans so bad. Mostly because for black people, hiyo definition ilikuwa very important for their movement. Ilianzanga tu kwa fringes za internet kama jokes na memes na hizo vitu za Dr. Umar. Unajua like maujinga tu. Alafu after some time it got to mainstream and watu wakaanza kuiconflate na things that they do not like about black people, things that they do not like about women's movements. Like sa imekuwa wamepile on a way to hate on like marginalized group using that word. Americans wakona, and it was like very deliberate. There's this guy aki anaitwa nani nimesahau. He was like he was at the forefront ya hiyo movement. Like kuna hadi video anasema we are going to all these different places, tutaenda tuseme hii word woke, tuiseme tuiconflate na like bad things mpaka ifike point ukisema woke watu wanaiassociate tu na kitu mbaya.
Because I feel pia ni juu states the wokeness, I feel kama states wokeness ilipita kiasi because like vile umesema when we talk about marginalized groups of course talk about bonga the LGBTQI sindio but there's this time where the T wali insist, especially the T wali insist hao ni madem waka insist hao ni machali and the debate came in like if kama hujafanya transition surgery how are you still coming to my bathroom just cause najua so kama mimi saizi niamke tu niseme mimi ni dem alafu hatujaionana na wewe uonekana ingia kwa bathroom yenyu najua you'll feel some sort of way even if nimekuja kama nimevaa skirt you feel like you won't feel secure like if you see this one guy who unajua if I'm pressed I'm there holding it before I go and shake it huko, and no one else is shaking anything there. You understand why it became a problem?
Okay, ntasema when it comes to like the whole gender debate, ntasema first of all, I think I'm not knowledgeable enough in like a lot of people's stories
Yeah.
to be able to be like, hey, this is not supposed to be happening. But ntasema two things. The first one is society in a progress kukua more inclusive to people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because tumekuwa socialized in a certain way, tumeambwa this is how the world is supposed to be, it's very hard to uamke siku moja uko like, no, like you don't know how to navigate that we mwenyewe as a woman, we mwenyewe as a man, like there's things you're still learning. So when they add like a new phrase or like a new group of people, you kuna wenye they want to do the right thing, so they will go to the farthest extreme.
Yeah.
Alafu kuna watu wenye they want to preserve the things the way they are, and they will be very intolerant to the point yenye hata they'll kill people because they don't like who they are or how they present.
Yeah.
So it's getting to a point for me where we are not tolerant. Some of us are just not aware of like how to navigate his space. Na tuko so afraid of being wrong, like we'd rather like tunaenda kwa extreme ya kuaccept vitu zenye hata hatujui. So that's the first thing ntasema. The second thing I'll say, when it comes to the trans movement, there are people who have actual issues zinaitwa nini, ni kama it's like a brain thing, it's like a body thing, it's like body dysmorphia, it's like a lot of things together. Ni kama mtu hata ajui identity yake ni nini. It's an actual thing. Alafu kwa society juu most people are just male or female, na they've never had to think about it. Ukijipata kwa hiyo situation unaanza kuogopa, because it's either you'll just pretend to be this one thing because no one cares enough to have the conversation, or you'll decide to present the way you feel, alafu watu watakuattack, and then you don't know how that will go. So we're getting to the point where we don't know how to treat people because we've never been here before. Na ironically, kuna places kama Philippines, Thailand, trans people wamejaa. And no one even like cares ati evil, because those are people going about their day. That's none of your business. So juu tunapenda, I'll say this is like an American problem. Juu wanapenda like extremes. Wanapenda either you're like the wokest person, very leftist, or like very conservative, and like you hate these kinds of ninis. But reality kwa ground ni kuna watu wenye lives out, they're being affected. There are people who've killed themselves because they don't know how to live kwa society yenye wako. Na kuna watu maybe they needed like help and counseling na nini before maybe they transitioned nini. Izo vitu, because hakuna system set enough for us to know like this is the path we should go. We are just fighting each other pakatikati instead of like having the actual conversations, because we're never talking about the people. We're just talking about hypothetical scenarios. The chances that a trans person at a assault, seme like a cis woman, atujui, because maybe not that many people are studying, but in very many cases where people have been in those spaces, awajaiona kitu kama hiyo ikihappen. But as human beings, hata tu na basis ya vitu, hata kama like tribalism, race, gender, nini, we don't know how to treat each other. Tunajuanga tu kwenda kwa extremes. It's either you stand for it, ama because you understand and you asked a question, you hate those people.
Because yo pia ina bring aspect vile umesema joyo. What I think about is, you see, because mwaga honest, nasemaga na supportigi Chappelle kikam to your story. The story being, I have a problem with the T, and I'm always say like I'd want to work on it, but I feel like that's opening a Pandora's box. Like, where do we stop? If I can, neza kuwa na vitu za dem sindio alafu niseme na feel ka mi ni chali sindio ama niko na vitu za chali niseme na feel ka dem right now what's going to stop me as a black man to say I feel like a white person? No, what's going to stop? You understand? If they can be nitakuwa ni gender dysphoria ama
gender dysphoria
that means they can be race dysphoria. That means lakini the reality is with the gender you'll be treated well. With the race one utapata risasi because as the black the whole world will always look at you as black. So hapo ndio hiyo Pandora's box naonaga niko na shida now. Like we existed for a very long time where men who wanted to wear female clothing could wear female clothing but they were still considered men sindio
see, that's just drug culture
saizi wanataka tuwaite madem mi hakuna vile nitakuita dem na uko na deiki si ati nakuchukia but we si dem and see, it's not how I've been raised, it's just nature because nature inanionyesha hawezi shika ball unaweza patiana. You heard about the guy who got jailed in the States. I think it was in New Jersey and ended up impregnating 2 women. So is he still a woman?
Mintasem, this is my opinion. I feel like what you want to be identified as ni kama nickname. Unataka tutumie she they mi sina shida. I will learn because I don't want you to be uncomfortable in any way. That's just who I am.
But you
when it comes to when it comes to like gender dysphoria, honestly that's like it's like a very very hard thing for people to deal with. Mimi, I don't know. I was watching Jon Stewart's interview with a woman whose kid like mtoto wake alikuwa like akona trans child. So for the longest time,
how old was the kid?
I think the kid alianza feel gender dysphoric, maybe he was 7.
You see my kid
and ndo nasema akiwa 7, that's a very young
kid
to be experiencing. Sasa this is what they did. For 3 years that lady walikuwa namwambia no when he dame like walikuwa like their kid so the kid was very miserable. The kid was very like alipitia like a lot of ni kama parents wako tu kukuchapa yo utapata A by force unajua it was kind of those situations. It got to a point where they had to have the conversation with their child where it's like what is it that's going on, but their kid couldn't talk to them. Wakampeleka kwa counselor. They like it took like a whole year for even them to get their kid to smile. Na iyo they didn't do anything. There was no transitioning ati kumvalisha certain way. Alikuwa anavaa tu vile anataka, but alikuwa anataka tu parents wake watumie the right pronouns wakimaddress. That's it. Literally.
You don't feel like that's too work? No. Because mi nitakupatia example.
Because that kid literally all they want is like to be listened to. Pali that kid is right now, me don't know.
Nikiwa mtoi let me give you an example but when I was a kid nikiwa 11 years old I was 11 years old. I used to Isaniko Olympic Estate. There's this very beautiful girl and I think right now ali relocate akaenda maju sakisikia jina yake pole but she was called Sophia but she was a Luya girl and she was really beautiful and I remember there's this once where because she was older than me. I think she was born a year before so she was a year older than me. So I think she was going through a dole but there's this once where she came na akanichorea deiki kwa meza. Nimetumia jina deiki because YouTube siku hizi imetuamulia nikitumia the English word. So after nini paka kaniambia like in my language, in my culture, if you want kuomba dem unamwambia mbeho shipoto. I've never forgotten. I was a kid but I was disgusted. I'm 11 years old. I was disgusted because mi sikuwa nimeingia dole. So I was there, unanionyesha nini hizi? I'm not interested. A year later I was like, hey, please draw for me the same thing. You see, so why are we denying kids being kids? A 7-year-old kid hana hizo feelings za gender, sex. I feel like america inafanya watoiwa grow up too fast bcause mi napatia na my
I
personal
think-
example and I've given this story so many times and it's always the same story bcause si uongo nikiwa 11 years old nilikuwa na zero sexual whatever.
It's not even about sexual,
Not
even
even
the things
about,
that
I
you
was just a
desire
kid.
That's why I'm
at
saying
7.
that's why I'm saying okay, I'll say first of all tuna confuse gender na sexual orientation.
It's basically the same thing. If you
No,
feel like a
it's
girl,
not.
if you feel like a girl and you are a dude,
Okay, wacha nipeane basi for instance yenye mi nilielewa. This is where I started seeing hata mi arguments zenye nilikuwa nazo kwa akili yangu as make sense.
yeah.
Unaona kama Caster Semenya ama Christine Mboma ama there's like 3 athletes who's like I've followed their story very diligently. I think there's one in Uganda I'm forgetting. Please nichekie like the Ugandan nini mwenye aliambiwa she has to go to undergo surgery juu she was presenting too much testosterone.
Yeah,
After
Caster
she-
pia naambiwa aliambiwa hivyo.
Yeah, after she went through that surgery she couldn't run. Like at all.
Yeah.
For like sijui how long and then she couldn't compete. Alafu unajua the longer you are out of like with any sport, the longer you're out of playing ama nini, you just it just becomes harder and harder for you to get back. Okay, so when certain women look a certain way and they present a certain way, wanatitiwa kama men.
Yeah.
It's like they're told you can't compete because you're not a woman, you're not so kwa akili yangu nilikuwa nina justify aje. See, there are women who literally don't have reproductive parts, like their uterus doesn't work, they don't have periods, nini. Does that make them a man?
Okay.
Unaget, sa kwa akili yangu nilikuwa najiuliza kama hizi vitu zote mimi sielewi. So unaimagine mtu mwenye sasa vile like someone who's intersex mwenye they grow up they had both genitals and then they fika mahali anaanza kupresent more anapresent more like a woman but bado akona like both organs like and they don't know what to identify as. So unapata kama naturally there's these particular situations happening. What happens to someone who akizaliwa they don't have the obvious thing kama mtu intersex mwenye ako like maybe this is what is happening. What happens then? So in those spaces mimi sijui what I would do. I don't know what conversation I would have with that person and how they want to identify. Juu sijai experience kitu kama hiyo. But huyo mtu maybe from a certain age alianza kufeel some type of way. Si ati nasema ati ata transition. Kuna watu they never transition. They just want to be, for lack of better words, they want to be affirmed. Like vile tu wewe we ni he, kuna mtu mwingine juu ako maybe na both conflicting nini anaenda na by they.
Cause mi kile nafikiria ni mtu akiniita she I'd still move on with my life because I know my truth.